Hello, learners. So, we all know about dyslexia, don't we? Dyslexia is basically a neurological condition that affects reading. Persons with dyslexia may also have a variety of other learning difficulties. Evidence shows that dyslexia, dysgraphia, and dyscalculia have a lot in common. The majority of children with specific language impairment or SLI also have dyslexia symptoms. These conditions and their symptoms can be termed as Constellation. Constellation is a very topical societal challenge and a booming scientific theme. In the beginning, it was essentially psychopedagogical, but now it has become central in neuroscience and neuropsychology. There is a book written in French called La Constellation de, meaning the constellation of this, by Dr. Michael Habib, a neurologist at Marseille University Hospital. Habib delivers a complete and explanatory overview of all these conditions and suitable therapeutic avenue. Dyslexia is a widespread learning difference, and more people are becoming aware of this difference these days. But people are not very familiar with other learning differences or the Constellation. They often co-occur, but they are different neurological conditions and occur independently as well. Let's take a look at a few common symptoms that make a constellation of challenges related to dyslexia. Number one can be audition. The best predictor of reading achievement is phonological awareness. To learn about sound-letter correspondence and decode text, children must be aware of speech sounds. If a youngster is unfamiliar with the sounds in a printed text, they will have difficulty connecting them to letters. A unit of sound that can distinguish one word from another in a language is called a phoneme. According to study, phoneme is underdeveloped in dyslexic children. As a result, youngsters may find it difficult to select the correct phoneme when speaking. That's how audition can be one essential component of the constellation. Number two can be vision. The visual component of the constellation can also be challenging, but according to current understanding, it is not always related to dyslexia. This idea is more widely debated in various European countries. Number three can be attention. The link between reading and attention is one aspect of the dyslexia constellation, one important aspect, I should say. Symptoms and behaviors associated with attention and reading difficulties are often related. Let us take an example of a child who is constantly moving and has trouble focusing on a single task. Because of the movement and activity involved, it is usually considered as the form of attention difficulty. In many ways, it may be less noticeable that the child might have a reading difference too. So these were some of the symptoms that can be related to dyslexia. There are other specific neurological conditions come under the umbrella of this constellation, such as dyscalculia, dysgraphia, and dyspraxia. What is dyscalculia? Dyscalculia is a specific and persistent difficulty in understanding numbers, which can lead to a diverse range of difficulties with mathematics. A person with dyscalculia may have difficulty when counting backwards, have poor sense of number and estimation, have difficulty in remembering basic facts despite many hours of practice or rote learning, have no strategies to compensate for lack of recall other than to use counting, have a difficulty in understanding place value and the role of zero in Arabic or Hindu number system, have no sense of whether answers are right or nearly right, be slower to perform calculations, forget mathematical procedures, especially as they become more complex. For example, long divisions. Addition is often the default operation for them. The other operations are usually very poorly executed or avoided altogether. They avoid tasks that are perceived as difficult and likely to result in a wrong answer. They have weak mental arithmetic skills as well and have high level of mathematics anxiety. Dyslexia can occur in association with dyscalculia. Co-occurrence of learning disorders appears to be the rule rather than the exception and is believed to be a consequence of risk factors that are shared between disorders. For example, working memory. However, it should not be assumed that all dyslexics have problems with mathematics, although the percentage may be very high, or that all dyscalculic have problems with reading and writing. Now let's talk about dysgraphia. While dyslexia makes reading especially challenging for students, dysgraphia is a learning difference that makes writing more difficult, both on a physical and mental level. Students with dysgraphia find communicating ideas in a written form to be very, very challenging. Symptoms of dysgraphia include problems with spelling, poor handwriting, trouble putting thoughts on papers. And there is another condition called dyspraxia. It also has many things in common with dysgraphia, but it is a different condition. Dyspraxia is a term that refers to lifelong challenges with movement and coordination. It is not a formal diagnosis, though. The formal diagnosis is developmental coordination disorder, DCD. People with these challenges can struggle with balance, coordination, and motor skills. These include fine motor skills for making small movements like using a pencil, and it affects the handwriting too. Gross motor skills for making large movement like kicking a ball. Motor planning for doing multi-step tasks like tying a shoe. The difficulties usually don't exist on their own. People often have other challenges too, including ADHD, transcription and handwriting difficulties like dysgraphia, sensory processing issues, mental health issues like anxiety, slow processing speed, and autism. There is another condition called specific language impairment or SLI. SLI is often co-occurring with dyslexia. It starts with difficulties with the oral language followed by written expressions. These two conditions can be seen as complementary and contribute to the constellation of challenges pertinent to dyslexia. We will learn more about these conditions as the module progresses.